Right. This was this speed button on my Renault Captur heater air conditioning system wasn't working manually, and when you turn it, the lights weren't coming on. The only way I could get the lights to come on, and it would only work on these automatic windscreen ones because that bypasses this switch. So I thought maybe, it was the knob had come disconnected. So either that or the resistor had gone, was the unit. Turns out it was this knob. I needed to take it apart, and take it off, and put it back in, and make sure it's connected properly. Which I'll show you, but otherwise I would have had to get the resistor out from behind the glove box. And because the way this knob works is by there are resistors in series, and the more resistors you have in series, the lower the setting is, and they're on the you'd have to take the risk. But anyway, I didn't have to do that because this knob was just not connected right, and that's why it wasn't working. And I knew I suspected that because it was working on the automatic thing with the windscreen bits, but not when I just wanted to turn the heater on manually like this. I'd have to switch from the windscreen automatically to there to get it to work, but I couldn't manually switch it on with the knob. So I thought, oh, maybe it's just something to do with the knob rather than just the resistor. But if it was set on a high setting as well, a lot of the time I couldn't alter the setting, which also made me suspect the resistor, because if your heater does get stuck only on the highest speed setting, that can be the resistor that's often is the resistor. But I was lucky that it was just this knob. I've just tested it. I put it back in the car and found that I have repaired it properly. So I'll show you how I did that in a minute. And yeah, okay, so I'll stop that there. And air conditioning, all that, okay. And the problem I've had is that it's simply just, it's just this knob here, this knob. It won't manually work. So I can get, so I've got that off. That's the front of the switch. Hang on, let me get it. That bit, the metal bit, and the middle bit of it, which is I just pulled that out, okay, but didn't need to really, because I've now just taken this whole front off. Okay, so that just prized out the whole front. So as you can see, that's the whole front. Tools used for doors and things. I haven't got them on me at the minute, but probably do it with a screwdriver, but try not to damage that. It's better to get the proper prizing tools. So we've got this out, and then I'm gonna in the back here is where the control is of the heaters. You have to unplug it as well. So when you got this out of the car, it's plugged into a socket electrics. Just pull that plug out, and then take it out, and then you got this bit here, and this is a bit I've got to get off now to have a look at this heater control. So it's anyway, it's worn out. Okay, so I'm going to just unscrew them. Right. So I've got these screws off. These that's the inside. So I put this. This is the speed of the heater or cool air that's doesn't work manually. So I put the front of the button back on by looking behind here and in here, seeing where the grooves are, just trying to put it back in the right place so it fits. So, and you've got this metal bit on the outside, and that's what, so when you turn the button, these metal bits at the back of this button are what engage with these points, which see here, which depend how high you want it. Okay, so those contacts, right? So hopefully now maybe that button will engage again. If it doesn't, I'll have to try again. So just sort of fiddle around with it and trying to get it back. So it turns. You can see that it. Okay. So let me get it back. So I'm turning it. I don't know if you can see it. It's moving. It's a bit. But anyway, it is turning. It's moving inside. And but it was turning before, but I don't know if it was engaged properly. So now I'm going to put it back onto the back. There's the contacts. Okay. Oops. Okay, you can see behind this rock. Oh damn! I dropped it out. Now how to put that back together? I advise not to be clumsy like me and just drop that, because I was a bit confused as to which way it went back on, but I've sort of done it by logic, so hopefully I got it right around. So what I'm doing is, I should not lift it up, try not to drop that fascia off, because it will just fall off, and if the thing falls out underneath the contacts, you might not know which way automatically it goes around, so keep that held on there. And then this front bit goes back onto there. So this bit there with the three rubber things there, as opposed to this one. This one's the speed one where I want back. So this got to go over this speed button here. Okay, and that fits back together. And it just clipped on. So it just fits over, and there's you can see little rectangular holes which have they clip down into little prongs, things just sticking out which clip into them. So you just going to sit down and put it down to get this together here. Right, so I'm going to put this back in the fascia bit thing here, which has got these clips, which clips it back into the car, and that's where your screen goes, and then this goes underneath. Use a torque 20. I managed to get it off with a little Allen key, but anyway. And for these screws, so basically you've got 4 screws to put back on. God. There. And they go, so this fits back into here. Get it right around. There. So the big knob is, as you can see, that's going back into there. That goes there. And then I'm going to turn the back. And when I clipped before I do that, when I clipped this unit back together, because I need to actually clip this back in a bit more, but that's it. When I clipped this back together, I found that you had to clip the end on first. I think it was this end. To get it to clip in easily, you had to sort of clip the end on first and then clip the rest on. But it does go on, it just needs a bit of patience to clip this part back together, back onto here, and then put this back in here. So again, and then I'm gonna so get to the back, and you've got your screws, which here, that's where they go in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 2 there and 2 there. Alright, so I'm just going to put that down a minute. Just adjust the video if I can. torque 20. I think I need to sort of hold that on while I'm screwing it, because these screws don't go down, they sort of float about on top. I don't. Screw that up. So yeah, I just put it in the car actually on its side. I just tested it and connected it back to the connectors, and it is working. It was that switch, that knob. It just wasn't. It's come disengaged somehow. I'm not sure how, but it had. So just needed to fiddle around with it and engage it back, so it was turning the actual thing to where it turns. It contacts with different parts of the circuit to make different amounts of resistors connect up. So I got it back just by fiddling around really and making sure the grooves seemed to be turning it. And sometimes you just have to try these things. That's what I do. I tend to fiddle and try things, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but it's better than spending a load of money on a part you don't need first if you're not going to do any damage. And basically with something like this, if you're careful when you take the fascia off, you're not going to do any damage. Just if you do it with the proper tools and don't use sort of screw. I mean, I use proper plastic tools. You can remove them with screwdrivers if you don't mind cosmetic damage. But, you know, when you're taking these fascias off, just be careful of these clips. I mean, they can seem quite sturdy. I know when I took my inside of my doors off, I did snap a couple of clips, but you can replace them. You have to order them online, but these ones are quite sturdy clips. But, you know, it's worth taking time just to be careful when you prise things off so you don't snap connectors and things, because it's a pain up the arse to then replace them. Right. So I'm just going to do these screws, and then when I've done that, I'm going to put it back in the car. Alright, they're just about tight, so that's right. There it is, and I'll switch the video off now so I can show you me putting it back in the car. So that's just a Torx 20, all that you need for that. Okay, I've got to come back to put this back in the car. These are the tools that, you know, these kind of, what do you call it, prizing tools. These plastic prizing tools are good to use. You know, I've got a set of them to getting it on and off. You can use a screwdriver, but it's better to use plastic tools, prizing tools like this kind of thing, or that kind of thing. All these little ones I used as well, which if you go, it's little metal ones, but they come with, you can get sets of these from tool shops. Or you can just get it off with a screwdriver if you want, but you've got to be careful not to, if you want to be careful. Anyway, it's not that difficult to get off. So, there's the connector there. Connector goes in this little hole there. That just pushes back in. Yeah, that just pushes back in. It's not, it just needs a bit of force there. It wasn't too difficult to get out, it just got to pull hard there. I just clips back in. I think this is all on properly. Just double check. Yeah, clipped in properly. And then just clip that back in so you can see the holes there where these yellow tabs clip back in. So it shouldn't be too difficult to clip it back in. Before I clip it back in, I'm just going to check it's working. So, meters on, that's on 23, let's try, yeah, there you are, it's all going, you can hear it, speed, that's on there and there, or you can switch it up to up there, but yeah, it's all working. You see, so I can switch it all the way around now, or all the way back. And I couldn't do that before, the lights weren't coming on, it would break. So it was just this knob that needed to be properly connected in. So I'm just gonna, so that just, that's enough of that. That just clips back in. See, probably because of the sun, I just see on the video. Might have to sort of smooth that a bit. Clips in. Let's get in the right place. Yeah. Yeah, and that's done. So it's worth having a go at yourself if this knob's giving you problems. If it isn't that knob and it turns out that's not the problem, well, it in the glove box behind here, I was lucky with that, but the next thing to check would be the glove box here, and to go in the glove box, and to get, you'd have to get the screws out of the back and get the resistor unit out and probably replace that or check the resistor. So, but for me, it was this knob, so that just needed to fiddling with and making sure it's connecting properly.